What up, people? What's good? Salute, salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good, ladies and germs? Sixth element of hip hop. We are live. I am your host, Reno Noir, and your co-host, Stu Dog, is on the way in as well. Having some technical issues, but it's all to the good. Well, yeah, man, we got a great show. Welcome to the joint. If you just popped in, or if you're here live, salute. We love it. If you're watching this Pondy replay, or either way, man, leave a comment. We love it. Leave the like. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe if you have not done so yet. Because we're live. We're live every Monday and every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday, we're going to talk about Marvel, any hip hop, any comics, related films, movies, shows, comic books, animation, video games, you name it. And then Saturday we just strictly talk DC, just DC related, DC comics, DC, because we tend to neglect DC sometimes, and so we made a special day to make sure that DC gets its fair share, because DC's dope. We don't want to diminish DC just because we Marvel guys. I'm a Marvel guy anyway. Stu's a DC guy, so technically you got a Marvel guy, you got a DC guy here on deck live, and I'm just killing time right now waiting on Stu Dog. But we're gonna talk about the Loki show, the finale. Crazy, best thing they've done since Andor. We're gonna talk about the Marvels. Just more of this. Do they not learn? I don't know. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Jonathan Majors, Kang is doomed. Pun intended. We're talking about Doom taking over as the big bad versus Kang, because it's legal issues with Jonathan Majors, but Kang should have never been a big bad anyway. Kang's a mini boss, okay? Kang's a mini boss. Doom is a boss. Kang's a mini boss. Doom toys with the likes of Kang. But it was a good idea they wanted to utilize his, time traveling and multiversal issues. But Doom, you can do all that with Doom. You got plenty of characters, Marvel. Stop it, I said. But yeah, we got lots to talk about. Oh, Disney Plus is going to be a thing of the past as of in December, so we're going to talk about that. Yes, Disney Plus gone, no more Disney Plus. It's a wrap. As per the CEO Bob Iger himself. So yeah, they are. There'll still be shows. There'll still be Marvel and DC shows and whatnot. It's just that they're not going to be on the platform known as Disney Plus anymore. Now they will be on Hulu. They're merging with Hulu, and I think from what I understand, they're making a new app, a new streaming service that's going to be a hybrid of Hulu, Disney Plus, and I want to say there's a third one in there too, but we'll get into that here momentarily. We're gonna talk a little bit about Loki too as a character, and a little bit of the lore going on behind there, and a little bit of the lore that Marvel's dabbling into, especially with Yagadizel. You don't know what I'm talking about. It's a tree, the tree of life. Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil, we were gonna call it. But yeah, that's been popping off. We've been seeing that even in what you call it, Spider-Verse. So yeah, The connections are there. You just gotta find them. Lots of Easter eggs in Loki. We're gonna definitely chop up the Easter eggs. Peace, peace, peace. Salute. Lots of Easter eggs, man. Let's dive into those suckers. No, but I kind of wanted to wait for Stu to begin, but let's do the light stuff. Okay, so Disney Plus is going to shut down in December. Bob Iger, CEO, tells parents need to get prepared for that. And this is really going to affect parents, parents with small children who they are worried about, what content that they have at their fingertips and whatnot. The Walt Disney Company's been struggling to compete in the world of streaming television. They've just not, despite the company's vast catalog of family classics and the MCU and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Pixar, right? Not to mention Simpsons, National Geographic. There's just no excuse. But the streaming service has been able to overtake Netflix as the king, and they just won't have it. They don't want to be a competitor. They feel like if they're competing against Netflix, Max, Amazon Prime, then they don't want to play. They want to take their toys and go home. It also turns out that the streaming platform is actually losing the company hundreds of millions of dollars. So Disney's recent earnings report showed that its current attempts to corner the streaming market have been utterly failing, and even as it increasingly jacks up the subscription prices, it's like $130 a year, I think, and deletes original content. What are they? I don't know. But now it seems that the streaming service is shutting down and being replaced. Disney and Hulu, a bit of a hybrid issue. Stu Dog is in the building. What's good, homie?
What up? What up? What up?
Boom, boom. Salute, Fresno nerds in the house. Stu's on the subject.
What's up?
We talking about the Disney Plus, John, with Hulu. So for months, Bob Iger has promised that there would be some new streaming service that would combine the catalog of Disney and Hulu, the streaming platform co-owned by Disney and Comcast. And yeah, until recently, that is, Disney recently announced plans to entirely purchase Hulu, an expenditure that will pump billions more into a field that is already losing the company a grotesque amount of money. While streaming has not been kind to Disney, it seems that Bob Iger can only see one way forward for the company. And in a call to analysts, Iger revealed that beginning in December, the new service will be beta tested as a combined app with Hulu, with both apps to be permanently replaced in March of 2024. Per the article. But according to Iger, parents will need to be prepared for this because the Hulu catalog is basically full of programming, definitely not intended for children. Unlike the deliberately family friendly Disney Plus app. And Iger said, we are basically putting it in beta so that we can prepare parents largely to basically implement parental controls, because you'll be able to access Hulu programming on the same app. So basically, if you're not a parent with a small child worried about what content is going to be available to them, this is fucking irrelevant to you. It's not going to matter. Disney Plus, like Stu, you pay for Disney Plus, so that's one bill you're just not gonna have to pay no more. So that's a plus for you.
That's a good plus.
It's a Stu plus. Yeah,
Oh, that's a good plus, man. And because the price of Disney is over $100
yeah.
starting for me as of this month. Um, I got a message from them when I logged into I think it was my Disney Plus. I don't know. I went into Disney Plus one day. My TV did an update and it kicked me out of my, so I had to log in. And when I logged in, it said as of 10/22/23, everybody subscribing or has to be subscribed after that date, and they gave you the price. I think it was like 149. It was like 149, 139. So it's over $100 either way. I don't give a damn what it is, 99, whatever.
Right.
It's over $100. Um, when I did the math, it's almost as high or higher than Netflix. So Netflix is over $100 a year if you subscribe. I just pay it for the year and be done with it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I just don't think that Disney has enough content, or or uh, or they're putting out enough content, new content, in order to keep me interested in it to pay $100 and something a month.
Right.
They have no physical media, and their main goal is to beat Netflix. And you're not going to beat Netflix. Netflix
Mm-mm.
literally just stopped making or shipping physical CDs, but you can still
Yeah.
buy a lot of their movies on Blu-ray or disc. You can. Disney didn't do that with any of their Disney. None of that. You can't get the man. Well, now you can, but before you couldn't get the Mandalorian. You couldn't get Andor. You couldn't get Miss Marvel. Any of that. They
Mm.
just started putting it out this year on Blu-ray. So that right there is showing you that they're trying to cut the cost, because you
Right.
got people like me. I'll stream it, but I also need a hard copy. I'd rather watch the hard
Right.
copy because I want the superior picture and sound.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are gonna like that. You know, like you said, Blu-ray is another. That's another good plus about it.
Right.
I posted this on Instagram that this was happening, and people are like, "Clickbait, liar! It's not true."
Nah, it's
It's
true. It's
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 true.
true. We broke the story here on Six Element of Hip Hop, and it's
I
true.
mean,
You
it
also got
is.
to look at it like this too. Disney has to store all of that stuff. So you need servers and all of that to store that stuff. So think about the people who like, I don't really want to stream it. I don't want Disney Plus, but I want to see this. Then you got the people that stream it for free. Well, you know how you all stream it for free.
Hmm.
But then you got some people who said, well, you know what? I'll wait for it to come out on disc. I'll buy it and watch it then. That's
Right.
money they leaving on the table. They know that. And if they
Right.
don't,
Hey, yo, I am so fucking sorry I'm late. Hey,
it's
everybody.
all right. It's all right.
Because
Yeah, as long as you're here, that's all that matters. But Disney is you can't leave money on the table, charging people the money they're charging, and not putting out the content that they're putting out, quality anyway,
right.
and then expect people to say, "Well, what am I streaming that for?" It was like last week when we were talking about the streaming the music. People that do movies are asking themselves the same question I ask myself about music. Why do I need 50 billion songs when I'm not going to listen to 50 billion songs? And why do I have to pay you for that every month when I can
Mhm.
just get what I need and go about my business? That's the question they're asking with Disney Plus,
Right.
because we've talked about it on this show millions of times. Um, a lot of the shows were a disappointment. A lot of the new content isn't coming as consistent. We don't need it fast. We just need it consistent. I mean, if you put out what,
Right.
3 shows a year, that's every couple months. We can deal with that. But then when you put out, 3 shows a year, and then half of them are woke, and then the other half just don't have the content that we're looking for, and then the
Right.
rest of them are just badly and poorly written. And like Reno says, gives us a bunch of characters that we don't care about. Why am I paying for that? Why would I pay for bad food if I go to a restaurant? I'm gonna keep eating at that restaurant. They keep serving bad food. That's just what it is, people, and that's where we're at.
Well,
And he's at that crossroads. The Marvels is just horrible. They're gonna release that on Disney Plus. What? Maybe a month from now because it's so bad.
yeah, that shit bomb. Marvel's is the worst movie. It's the worst grossing movie that the MCU's had. It actually broke a record.
Mm.
It broke the record of the worst grossing movie in Marvel.
What they
Yeah,
did to
it,
Monica, you want to talk about being pissed off for about an hour and 45 minutes?
mm,
What they
Mm.
did to her, I mean, when you talk about, I understand it's not supposed to be like the comic, but god damn, really? I was
now
pissed
we
at how they did.
Yeah, I mean, the Marvels will likely break this record for the MCU, being the third installment in Phase 5 of the MCU, a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel, which was a wildly successful movie, which introduced Brie Larson's superpowered former fighter pilot to the franchise. But per deadline, the Marvel's box office is only tracking to a gross domestic opening weekend total between 47 million and 52 million dollars, which makes it the worst opening ever for a movie in the MCU. With the previous movie that held the title was 2008's Incredible Hulk. So this is actually worse than the Ed Norton. They actually went that far back, and that's not accounting for inflation either. So this is even worse than that. But which is widely considered to be an early misfire for the franchise, and had an opening gross of 55 million. But again, that's 55 million in '08. That's not the same as 55 million in 2023, but there's a lot of factors that most likely contributed to this grim opening weekend, and one major element is the fact that the Marvel's release came just a day after the end of the Screen Actors Guild strike. But I don't think that all these excuses that the industry's making for this movie make any fucking sense.
They don't.
So what? The SAG after strike ended a day. Who cares? What does that have to do with it? Nothing. The movie's made. This has nothing to do with an actor strike. The movie's it's in the bag. It's in the can. The impact of the absence of the Marvel's cast is difficult to measure, but it could be significant, considering the original Captain Marvel opened to 153 million, 100 million more. But regardless, the box office tier the movie has landed on is shockingly low. But especially with its over $200 million budget, they spent over 200 million on this turd.
So you didn't even recoup the money, and that's what they want. They try to do. They try to recoup the money that they made. So if you put out 200 million, it better make 400 million plus.
It's got to make at least 200 just to break even.
It's break even, yeah. And
it was just this chick flick. It was just this chick flick.
Yeah.
Yeah, these chicks. I mean, just down to the dialogue. They asked her, and when they asked Carol why she touched, she said because it was glowing and shiny. Just like little shit like that. The fact that all the men in the movie, down to Nick Fury,
they asked her what?
Yeah, Nick Fury in the movie. Nick Fury asked her, because everybody touches their the jump point at the same time. Her, Kamala, and Monica. And that's how they got mixed up. So when Nick Fury was talking to Carol Danvers, and he asked her, he's like, "Why did you touch it?" And she goes, "Oh, because it was glowing and it was shiny." And he's like, "Stop touching shit." Like that happened, and just that kind of back and forth dialogue in the movie, and the fact that all the men were just kind of catering to the women, down to Kamala's mom, to make it, you know what I'm saying? Even Nick Fury was, Black Girl Magic. Like everybody, all the men were downplayed. There were very few in there, by the way, and it was just this. It was made to like you said the last show before. It's just pandering. It's a female. I don't know.
No, this is refreshing to hear. It's refreshing to hear a woman say this.
We want to hear a female's perspective. Yeah, we want. Because look, that's what they aimed it at. That's who
it's supposed to be for, and that's where I like to see that. It's like these LGBT. A lot of people that are in the LGBT community don't appreciate it. They don't like it.
They don't agree with that shit. They're like, yo, we started off with a negative imagery in this country, and now that we're getting a little bit of our foot in the door, this is what you do. So that LGBT, even they is like, and I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I was like, wow, really? And so when you have Nick Fury just kind of being like, it's kind of like, come on, man. Like,
they demasculate. No, they want to demasculate the men and make the men seem helpless and make the women seem all powerful. And listen, it's cool to have strong, powerful women characters, but you don't have to also make the men weak to have strong women. Why can't you have a strong man and a strong woman? What happened to that?
Right. It looks better and it's more believable if the woman is just as strong as the man.
Yeah,
because it means that she earned that respect instead of, oh, baby girl, because she's you know what I'm saying? It would have strengthened that dynamic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like look at it like this. In the 80s, think about it like this. In this thing right here, right? Bloodshed. Who was the villain? Was it a female? Yep. When you watch, did you ever watch She-Ra?
Bro, it's a Ronin. It's a female it's a female Ronin with a little mini Ronin, little Ronin hammer.
Now watch this. Bloodshed, did you ever watch She-Ra back in the 80s?
No.
Did you ever watch She-Ra back in the 80s? Who was her nemesis? Zordak. Zordak was a what? A male. So they didn't have a female doppelganger her that she had to fight. She fought another male. And she fought him well and beat him.
It's like It's like
Yeah,
Black Widow. It's like Black Widow making Taskmaster a female. Don't you think if they left him a male, it would have made it more potent that she was a female whooping
And
his
she was
ass?
leading? Yeah.
Why did you make? It's like you had to grade him down to a woman to
Woman.
fight. It's you're going against your whole ideology. It's like you're playing yourself.
Right, right.
You're trying too hard.
Yeah.
If you would
Look
have
at
just kept it real,
you're not empowering a female
right?
if that's what you're doing to make her shine. That's not empowerment. That's catering. That's babying. That's
right.
yeah. So what
Pandering.
was that? Yeah, it was such a pander movie. I'm not even going to front. Now, when it comes to the cinematic entertainment, I'm not going to lie. It was entertaining.
Hmm.
However, it just in this area, how they did Monica just oh, I could spit to my left, just straight to like it.
Well,
That
like
right there.
being a chick flick as you called it, and all of that, like that's fine. It's cool to have one of those amongst the MCU that pre Endgame MCU. Like if it was that MCU and you pop this movie in there, that'd be cool. It's cool to have one that the wives can dig, or you could bring the girlfriends to the movie and they could dig it too. It's cool to throw one of those in there. But when that's all we get, that's all we're getting. It's Eternals and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, what was the last one? Just
What did
garbage,
I
huh?
what did I tell you? I said when we talked about it the first time, I said I did not want 2 hours and 45 minutes of a period sync up. And what did we get? An
Mm-hmm.
hour and a half of a sync up. It's
That's
a
it.
curse being right all the
Yeah.
time.
You hit the nail on the head. You definitely hit the nail on the head. But like I said, look at other characters that are written back in the 80s. Ursa Oh, DC Comics. A soldier for General Zod, loyal to General Zod. When they did the new Superman movie with Henry Cavill, she was whooping Superman down. He couldn't. I was like, damn. She was giving him work. She's just as
Mm-hmm.
strong as he is, but it made it more believable and it made it more, palatable because she was a woman and doing it. She's what in the comics? She's 150 pounds, 5'10". You know what I mean? If you look her up in the comics, she's like 140, 150 pounds, something like that. And she's
Right.
beating Superman down, throwing him through walls. But she's doing it because she's just as strong as a Kryptonian, but he's just as strong as her. But he
Yeah.
couldn't power. He couldn't fight. She was more agile. She was
And that
beating.
made her look doper.
It
It's
looked
doper
dope.
to have.
It did.
But
Yeah.
the Marvels, they're saying like because of the SAG-AFTRA, that made it where the stars, the cast couldn't do their promotion and blah blah blah. That's so unnecessary with Marvel movies, dude. They sell themselves. You don't have to promote. This is not some unknown movie that the cast has to promote. It sells itself. We already know we're gonna go see it. So that is
they
not
had
an excuse.
they had to do a promotion for that. Because like you just said, we've been talking about this whole time. All the movies that they've been coming out, they really had they should have got the hype up for that and tricked people. So that way they
I
would have
think the
made some of their money.
I think the hype was already up. I think the Marvels people were. I even was excited for the Marvels. Me and Stu both. We thought it was gonna be good. The trailer looked dope.
I'm not gonna lie, but
I was just
angry.
blown away, man.
I was angry. I ain't gonna front. I was pissed.
The minute I looked at and saw what that movie was, man, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they just did not learn anything from Love and Thunder. It was basically like, they took some of Love and Thunder and some of Eternals and so just all the worst shit that they've been giving us and mashed it together and just gave us this ultra MCU. I mean, and again, not a problem amongst a decent catalog of films, but amongst Love and Thunder, the Eternals, all the bullshit, that we Quantum Mania, like it's not. That's what it's not gonna really be accepted for what it is, or seen for what it is, or appreciated for what it is. Like I don't think the movie in and of itself was all that bad. It's just that more of that right now. It was the wrong time for that movie. That movie it could have came out, like I said, pre Endgame. It would have been fine. Or if they, Marvel gets their shit together and they start making shit decent, but
That's the only thing is that they the MCU timeline You know what I mean? They had to do it after the blip to make a lot
Yeah.
of the story make sense. But at the same time, compared to none of it made sense. If you
Nah.
want to get real about it, a lot. But like they keep saying, they said we're 1 or 10% of the box office. So statistically, the pandering should have worked. It's just like
Yeah.
you said, this is not the time. This is not the time. You know what I mean?
It's not
And
the time.
yeah, I didn't fall for it. Was I entertained? It was a movie. I was entertained. It was cute. It was cute. But I'm tired of cutesy superhero movies like Love and Thunder and
Right.
shit. Like I'm sick of that. You know,
The
I,
comedic side.
I
You
need a
said you
story.
yeah,
I
the
need a
comedic.
story.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we
when you do this, you're making a mockery of these characters
yeah.
instead of, you know what I'm saying, projecting what they really are, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But Bloodshed, you read comics. You're a comic head, and you know the value of these characters. And from a woman's perspective, like when we have, especially when you and Sada on here, like that's why we sometimes throw it at y'all, not to put you on the spotlight, but we want to hear what y'all got to say because everybody knows what the male thinks, and everybody knows, but we want to know what a female thinks that does the same things we do, that reads comics like we do, that has collectibles like we do, that's just as into it as we are. We want to know how you feel because they're writing. Somebody in some office somewhere is sitting there convincing some cigar chomping executive that this is going to work. This is what they want. This is what the females. This is going to drive them to the box office, and they're going to drag their men with them, and they're going to come see this, and we're going to get some money, and we're going to be rich. So when you come on and say, no, this is not what did it for me, or even made me just get a bunch of my girlfriends and go see it, or grab a man and go see it, it's not what we want. We want something quality. We want a quality
I'm
movie.
not even going to front. If I had a date in the past couple of weeks, and our date was to see the Marvels, right? Now, mind you, prior to seeing it, I would be like, man, all right, whatever. You know? But after the movie, I don't know if you ask me on a second date, I'd be like, let me pick where we going. Because it seems
Yeah.
like,
All
you
right.
know what I'm
Right, right,
saying?
yeah, yeah. I got yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
nah.
pick the movie next time because
Yo,
you
if I
know
had seen
myself.
that in theaters,
Right.
I don't even
Yeah.
want to talk about it.
Well,
But we do have a system where I, tell them I would have thoroughly enjoyed that on my couch. Like Thor: Love and Thunder, thoroughly enjoyed it on my couch. But to go and pay my whatever 50, 1950, 1350 to
I
go see
couldn't
that
even
shit,
stand it on the couch.
and I'm gonna keep
Plus
it a buck. I couldn't
popcorn,
either.
plus
And
a
I'm gonna keep it a
drink.
buck. I
If
go
you
to
want
IMAX.
water,
If a movie's playing IMAX, I pay for IMAX. I don't give a damn. This is IMAX. I need that superior picture.
Yeah.
I need that superior sound. I'm going to IMAX, baby. That's how I'm getting down. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't fronting. I ain't trying to say I got it like that. But I'll say my pennies. Look, I'm going to IMAX because I need to see that in that on that screen.
especially IMAX 3D,
Yeah,
boy,
exactly. So
bruh.
if I'm gonna
Yep.
pay that much money to see a movie, it better be damn good. It really better
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Well, you got Ant-Man and Wasp and Quantumania, Eternals, but they weren't labeled as like bombs until the end of their runs. But the Marvels is like a misfire out of the gate for the MCU. Even in pandemic times, Black Widow, $80 million. While it came out, Shang-Chi, which was not considered all that, was 75 million. You know what I'm saying? Eternals, which was I hated, which was 70, it got 71 million. That's far better than this. And that's during the pandemic times. And a disastrous liftoff is problematic because Marvel movies have become increasingly front loaded, right? Meaning that they're just guaranteed type shit. Like we know it's gonna be, what I'm saying, tent poles. They just tend to earn a bulk of their money in the first weekend of release. That's where they really shine. They don't build up and then make more money later like some other kind of films were. Marvel movies, it's like boom, it's all about that opening weekend, and
Especially
fan,
with these monthly and yearly subscriptions, streaming services. So there's no DVD sales or nothing. Nobody's going to Blockbuster, and you know
No,
what I'm saying. So
no.
yeah.
the theater is where it's at for them. You know what I mean. So
Mhm.
yeah, they
It's always been
losing
there.
mad
Yeah,
money. They losing
yeah.
stupid money.
It's always been in the theater, and then after the theater, you got your disc release. You got to say, all right, what am I gonna make on this disc? For the people that is waiting for it to come on, I can probably squeeze another 2, 3 million out of this. you know, and that's what. Like, look at Avatar. Avatar was a well written movie. It was great. They bought that out on Blu-ray. I couldn't even. I had trouble finding that joint. Like it was sold out. I went in there. I think I got like one of the last two copies, and I went on the day that it released. So if you put a good movie out, you're gonna make your money. You're gonna make your money all the way around. You're gonna make it streaming. And look how long it took to come to, a streaming service. It was on the private streaming services. Then they put it on disc. You know what I mean? It just takes a while. And if you want your money back, you gotta write a good movie. That's it. Like Reno said, write about characters we care about. Do things that's gonna keep us interested. If you're not gonna do that, we're not gonna pay for it.
I am interested. I am interested. It's just that but I don't even know. I don't have words. I'm just gonna mute my
Well,
mic.
it
I'm just
probably has more
so
to
excited.
do with the Disney's COVID era strategy of quantity over quality. The
Yeah.
way that they were pumping this shit out, and for the past decade and a half, Marvel has been synonymous with excellence. It was like, oh, like that was the pinnacle. Like every actor had to get a Marvel movie. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, did you get a Marvel movie yet? Like that was your status symbol right there. Like everybody wanted to get in one of these movies,
And now
and
they all quitting.
it's
Now
not
nobody wants
not
to
that
do a
way.
Marvel movie. They're like, fuck that. You ain't about to end my career. Like, everybody's like, done. It's a Marvel
Yeah,
movie.
because
It's the truth.
the brand's track record was strong enough that heroes like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, Black Panther didn't need to be household names first to shatter box office records. You know what I mean? Captain Marvel arrived in theaters in an era when the MCU could not lose. They couldn't miss at the box office. But in the time since, Disney has inundated viewers with countless spin-offs and sequels and TV series, big screen, small screen. And since the launch of Disney Plus in 2019, Marvel's released 9 television shows with six up to 9 episodes each. In addition to their regular pace of 3 to 4 theatrical movies a year. And forget the casual viewer, it's a relentless pace for devoted comic book buffs. You know what I mean? Even for us, and you think casual viewers are keeping up with all this shit, but they're just like, whoa, it's just too much. And so even they've complained, even the biggest comic fans are complaining about the shittier visual effects and the tangled storylines and too many characters that don't make sense. And you know what's his name, I forget his name. What's his name? Something Robbins. He said, what did he say? Let me find what he said. He said audiences have higher and higher expectations, even with factors outside Marvel's control. A mixed reception towards several of their most highly touted films in the past few years, and even often excessive volume of Disney Plus series has diminished the level of urgency audiences once felt for the franchise. And he's right, because like I said, they used to be out of the gate hits, and that was what they depend on. They depend on those first weekend box office movies, and that urgency isn't there anymore. There's superhero, and with the last
My ex,
track
my
record being so
expectations
shitty.
aren't there anymore. I don't
Exactly.
expect anything. That's how I'm
Exactly.
enjoying these movies. Is literally watching them with a blind eye.
All
That's
right.
how I enjoy them. Is that I'm just out of sight, out of mind. Like this just a movie, and that's not
Yeah.
how it should be. But I don't expect shit. I don't expect nothing. I'm
Yeah.
surprised when I'm like, oh okay. I'm like, okay. Like what is
Yeah.
that? I should be blown away. I should be like, oh hell yeah. That should make
Well,
me want to go and reread the series. You feel what I'm
yeah,
saying? But no, no.
because look what's out.
Mm-mm.
Look, they're gonna come out with this spotlight brand, so they're gonna give us these other non MCU continuity projects and stuff. And I think the whole myth of superhero fatigue is proven to be false. It's a myth. All right. There's no superhero fatigue. Like I've said this a billion times. It's not superhero fatigue. It's shitty movie fatigue. Tired of the same bullshit, because Guardians of the Galaxy 3, $845 million. Sony Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, $690 million. The Batman, 770 million. you can go back to No Way Home, 1.9 billion, and this is only 2 years ago. So it's been clear, I think, for the first time that fans are not necessarily going to just reliably show up no matter what, for these movies anymore. uh you've got to make a good film, that's for sure, but if you make a good film, they will go see it. Superhero movies can, yes, keep doing superhero movies, just fucking make good ones. I think they depend on the superhero movie to sell it. We don't need to make a good movie. We don't need to write a good script.
That's what
It's
it
a
is.
superhero
That's what
movie.
it is. You were saying that earlier. You were just saying that this gross this, this gross that, and they're still trying to live off kind of like the fumes of the hype of what it once
Yeah,
was not too long ago. And now they've got this mindset. It's just like, hell yeah, they're gonna eat up whatever we give them at this point, because our
exactly.
track record has been so good, and we brought in so much money with these awesome films. Give them something.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a character. We're gonna do this. We're gonna give them something. I
Yeah,
can't have superhero fatigue if you're making movies about people who aren't superheroes.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
How's
I
you
that?
can't
agree.
and you can keep making these movies. You have to write good movies. We're not going to settle for trash just because it's got a superhero in it. No, no. And you can't just make goofy ass movies like Love and Thunder or the Marvels, and expect that to fly. Because no, we're not. You make a don't. You're treating us like morons. You're treating us like children and morons. Don't do that. You have to make a good film. It's like, Scorsese, how he was like, it's not cinema. Well, apparently it is. Because if you don't write a good one, they're not gonna go see it. Like we're done. We're tired of it. Like you have to write good movies. You have to make a good film. Because if that thing you guys want to call superhero fatigue, what it really is superheroes don't sell itself anymore. You have to actually write a good film too. That's
Yeah,
all that's going on here.
and the watchdogs are gone
Go,
now. The
go
watchdogs of
figure.
Hollywood are gone. Um, at one point in Hollywood, think about it. We had Spielberg, Scorsese. We had all these great directors and all these great actors and
Oh,
all.
they're still here doing their
Yeah.
thing.
I'm not saying
Scorsese
that
just dropped the
it's
joint.
it's
It
not
was
that
in the
they're not doing their thing. It's just that they were a different breed. So
Yeah, they were.
you get
They
this
are.
new generation, this new breed, who all they do is
They
complain.
can't write for
All they do is
shit.
complain. They have no imagination. Their
They can't
imagination has
write
been taken
for
away.
shit.
Right. Remember we were talking about the never ending story? And remember what the wolf said to a trail? The best way to take away people's ability to do anything is to take away their imagination. Once you
Mhm.
take away their imagination, they're like sheep. You can do whatever you want with them. And
Right.
that's the problem. You got people who are accepted and be like, oh yeah, it was cool, it was all right. No, it's not. And you got people like us that's like, no, it's not. No, because we have an imagination. Like we can sit there and think of something and come up with something or write a story that's pretty good. Well, you got people who say, well, such and such wrote this story. I want to do it like that. No, in order to make something good, I don't care if it's music, movies, whatever.
You gotta
You
look at the
have to
state
be
of the
inspired.
world.
Yeah,
You
you
gotta
got
look
to
at
be
the state of the
inspired.
world, the education system right now. In just a few years, I don't know if have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah. Classic.
Everybody in the world was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you read the news and went outside and interacted with people probably under age of, I say 16, but that's exactly where we're headed. So it's not
Yeah.
gonna get any better as far as creativity and
No, it's not.
imagining and everything is just a remake of what's already been
Of
done.
what's already been. Like we
You
talk
know,
about Star Wars. We were saying what Force Awakens was just a rewrite of A New Hope,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
and you were
Um,
mentioning music. You really want to get into that? The originality of music lately over the past,
No.
I listen to
you want
enough
to have that
music.
conversation?
Yeah,
Listen,
we can't
it
get
ain't a
into
long
that
one.
because
It ain't a
we
long
gotta.
one. It ain't a
Yeah, it's
long
not.
one. It ain't a long one because I know exactly where you're gonna go with it. And it ain't a long one. It's just that I realize it and I'm passionate about it because I listen to a lot of music. I own a lot of music. And so, like, matter of fact, speaking, see, Reno don't want to hear, but see, I'm gonna blame this on him. He sent me a joint the other day, and this is your fault with Matt Hoffer, and he was talking to E Double. And E Double and they were talking about the same thing we was just talking about music. E Double was talking about streaming. He was talking about how artists need to own their streaming rights. They need to rewrite their contracts to get money off of the stream, because he's saying right now, when you say, Alexa or Google, whoever, play this song, it's getting played, but they're getting most of the money and the artist is getting almost next to nothing. And he was saying you got to digitalize your catalog. He was saying, he brought up something that kind of, I didn't really think about, but then when I really thought about it, he was like, we need to go back to 5-minute songs. He's like, what happened to that? He was like, a
no, it's
song
not
now.
that I don't. It's not that I don't want to get into that. It's just that I gotta wrap the show up at 8, and we still gotta cover Loki. So I do want to talk about some good things that Marvel is doing right.
All right, well, let's get it.
Since we've been shitting on them all day. They did come through with Loki. Loki season
was
2
good. Yeah,
was
Loki
good.
was good.
Finale was crazy.
I ain't got no complaints about Loki. Yeah,
I heard it was really good.
Yeah, the Easter eggs are bananas.
You ain't seen Loki yet? What's going on?
Nah, the Easter eggs are crazy. So, but in the finale, right, you got the central conflict revolving around Loki's choice between executing Sylvie in the past or allowing the multiverse to collapse completely. And unlike in the earlier in the season, Loki now has figured out how to control his time traveling abilities, so he can navigate the entire show's timeline. And so as the TVA is in chaos following He Who Remains' demise, the episode sort of unveils a time loop where Loki encounters another version of himself in the past and future, sort of showcasing his newfound temporal mastery. And Sylvie, killing He Who Remains, causes the creation of a multitude of new timelines that jeopardize the sacred timeline, which overwhelms the time loom and potentially leading to all the chaos. And so a dilemma basically arises from the fact that Loki has witnessed potential timeline outcomes, right? And so avoiding annihilation by repeatedly time traveling. And so he explains this to Sylvie, who basically refused to give her blessing to kill her, but suggests that if he must, he should do it immediately. And these themes of free will and alternative choices definitely are sort of the vibe of the show. And as the climax comes close, you have Loki sort of realizing that there's an alternative way to prevent the annihilation of time, and aside from stopping Sylvie or restoring He Who Remains with Victor Timely. And so he departs from the group which is Mobius, Obi, Sylvie, Victor, and B-15. And so he steps outside the TVA facility to give them a chance, right? Embracing free will rather than succumbing to the predetermined concept of He Who Remains' sacred timeline. So Loki recognizes that his true purpose is to become a god, the god that he was meant to be, right? And so he steps out of the facility into the radiation from the timeline, and it would kill anybody else, right? It would just turn you into spaghetti, right? Even with protective gear, they can't do it. No one can do it. But Loki, being a god, he survives, and his fucking bro is so dope. His Loki visage that we've seen for however many years, it sort of peels away, and his classic Loki with the big horns, that classic suit is like underneath, right? It's like peels away to show that that's his true self. It's fucking dope. And so he embodies his true godly nature at this point. He's a god now. He's got the horns growing out, and he's with the TVA now experiencing time, Loki uses his magical abilities to like telekinetically shatter the loom, which prevents it from exploding, and then which basically sends the strands of the multiverse shooting out like a web, right, all over the place, just scatters everything, right? And so each timeline goes dark and just like seemingly dies, right? There are all these glowing timelines, and they just sort of turn dark, and they look like umbilical cords and shit just hanging everywhere. And Loki's like grabbing a few of them, and he like grabs them, and when he grabs them, you can see that they light up, like he reinvigorates them and shit. And basically he realizes that with his green magic and temporal control that he's built, because he's been there for centuries. Like they did a cutaway, and they were like centuries later where he just like studied physics for like centuries and then came back. It's funny as fuck. So basically through all that wisdom and shit, and God the ability, he basically continues to like get all the timelines and sort of gathers them all together and drags them in and like holds them all and like turns them all back on. But he's got that throne is there because he who remains is now blown out, and the throne is the only thing sitting there. And so he just like turns around with all the timelines gathered up and lit up, and he just sits down on the throne. You know what I'm saying? Just like a statue, just like a god, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I got this, you know what I'm saying? And just it's just an ill moment, man. And he sort of reignites the multiverse with the green magic and basically becomes the new master weaver of time. He's like Father Time sitting there. He's just like replaced He Who Remains as a god rather than a mortal man. And we zoom out and it sort of like leaves you with Loki just sitting there, and we sort of zoom out and see that the timelines have sort of taken the shape of Yggdrasil, the big tree that I was talking about at the beginning of the show.
Yggdrasil.
What do you call it?
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, yeah. So as this John here.
Wait, yeah, Yggdrasil. Okay. That's the tree that in Norse mythology.
Norse mythology.
It actually is what Loki's supposed to be. So like it's a tree that exists in the cosmos and everything else. So like everything is like when you look at the branches, how the leaves and all that, that's the rest of the universe and the timelines and all that. That's how it would actually be, and that's how the Norse guys looked at it.
Yeah, it says Odin and two brothers soon turned their attention to Earth, for there was much about the Earth that was beautiful, much about the Earth they loved, and so they set a ring around the planet, and the magic tree Yggdrasil grew up and spread its branches over the Earth and protected it while awaiting the coming of man. And this shit, and we've seen it even in the Spider-Verse movie right there.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and yeah, so that tree is sort of the timelines and everything take that shape of that tree. And Loki's like, he's stuck now. He's like stuck in this throne, to be honest. He's stuck sitting there. He's got to sit there and hold the timelines. He can like never leave. He can never move. He can never stop. And he in a way sacrifices himself for everybody. You know what I mean? And that's
and that's
very
Norse. And it makes sense. It makes sense, Reno, because that's Norse cosmetology. That's their cosmology,
right?
And that's why it makes so much more sense. That's what's so dope about it, like the way they ended it. I love that. And you're right. He can't go anywhere. He can't move. He's like Atlas. He's got to hold it. He's got to hold the world up.
Right.
But he's holding up the cosmos.
Right. The timelines.
Right.
The multiverse. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he's holding up the whole cosmos, and he's stuck there doing that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, he's in the center of the multiverse. It's called the nexus of all realities in Marvel, and it's a crossroad between the realms. And
that's the right arm. I forget his name, but you see him all the time. Homeboy that holds the Earth on his back.
Oh, Atlas.
Atlas.
Yeah.
Atlas. Yeah. Atlas. Sure.
Yeah. So you see that in a bunch of different
mythologies.
Within the timeline. So that's dope, man.
Yeah. And Marvel has, their nexus of all realities, and that's their crossroad between, all the realms, and that's in the comics. And having found the episode's called Glorious Purpose, which is something he said to Nick Fury back in the first movie, back in the Avengers movie. He said when he first popped out and met Nick Fury for the first time, he says like something like, my name is Loki and I'm imbued with glorious purpose, or something like that. And so the episode is called Glorious Purpose. And basically that's the whole point, that he found his glorious purpose is to be the the holder of the time of the
Like
multiverse.
a true God, like a true God.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's real right there. That's deep.
Yeah, and it's it's like he's like really the real timekeeper. You know what I mean? Like how the timekeepers and the Yggdrasil like timeline. And Kang was Kang pulling the strings. Was Kang pulling Loki strings the whole time, or has Loki truly become who he's meant to be, which is the god of stories? And I think, yeah, I think we'll see Loki again, but not for a while, and not in a major way. There's not gonna be like more Loki movies or anything like that. But Hiddleston said, he said, the way everything is gone, he said, I'd be crazy to think that, it's over, that we will just never see Loki again. But yeah, it's sort of the end of Loki, as a big character. Which I don't know, man. I think the MCU losing all their actors is just the dumbest thing they ever did, bro. I didn't even want to see it anymore. Once all
I
the
got
actors
you,
in the
Reno.
original
Reno,
show,
Hell yeah, they
I was
Reno,
jumping
like,
ship like a
Reno, we had this
motherfucker.
discussion. Reno, we had this discussion. You gotta hit these guys are getting too old. We gotta hit the reset button. It's
they're
time.
not all too old though.
They
It's
are
time.
not
But they're
all.
getting
They're
there.
not
No,
too old.
They're getting there.
no,
We need
Who's
some new
that old? Like,
faces.
they're not.
no. And
Yes,
they
it's time for
train and
some.
condition for these things. And you ever
Yeah.
heard of a stunt double?
Yeah,
They
but how
can
long?
do this
Nah,
shit.
these dudes and
Look,
they
let's keep it
de-age,
real. How long?
but these
Let's keep
guys
it real.
aren't old.
How long y'all think they can do it? Let's keep it real. How long
They
do y'all
could
think?
they could be still
Longer
doing
than
it right
this.
now.
Longer than this. How's
No, that's what I'm
that?
saying. Right, exactly. They could still be doing it now. I don't know
How
how
old is
long
Tom
they
Hiddleston?
could do it,
How old is
but
Tom
they
Hiddleston?
didn't have to stop yet. I don't know how
Them
much longer they
actors,
could go, but we could still be doing that, and that
them
would help.
actors is jumping ship, bro.
Yeah,
They're
and
done, and that's across Marvel and DC. They're done.
there's now 9 main universes in the multiverse. And then the X-Men Fox verse is now they want to bring that shit back. Which why? That's what we don't want. What the fuck are you doing? But anyway, and that's what happens when all these, but that's what they wanted to do. And that's they wanted to buy all that shit back from Fox and then use it, which I don't understand. But it is what it is. Loki is now the god of stories, and but that was it was a phenomenal episode, and there's a shit ton of cool ass Easter eggs too. Um, like a bunch of weird shit happened, but there's a ton of Easter eggs in this episode, bro. Like, let me see. You had the what else? They had the episode 6 reversed the Marvel Studios logo. Replayed season 2 episodes 4 ending from different perspectives. Yeah, that was an Easter egg. Reference other key moments of prior episodes. We don't want that. Traveled all the way back to Loki season 1 finale. Talking about the Kangs. Story references. The destiny of all the Lokis. You had the He Who Remains was the person that caused Loki's time slipping, right? So he did this to make Loki realize that no matter how much he tried, he could not save the multiverse, as the temporal loom is always going to collapse due to being a safeguard to protect the sacred timeline. And so He Who Remains was hoping that this would sort of prompt Loki into killing Sylvie and choose to lead the TVA beside him, just like they would, run it together. And increasingly, He Who Remains says that regardless of his choice, Loki will lose. Either the temporal loom will endlessly collapse and destroy the multiverse, or Sylvie has to die. Tying into the supposed destiny that all Lokis lose eventually. But
Remember Morbius said that. Not Morbius.
Yeah.
What was his name? Number was it number 5 or whatever his name? Remember he said that
Mm-hmm.
in the third to last episode. He was like, "Yo, you always lose. Like
Yeah.
like you've never won. No matter
Right.
how you try to do whatever." He said that's your fate. Like that's what you're
Mm-hmm.
destined to do. And remember, Loki got mad and was going to kill him, and they
Mm-hmm.
stopped him. But he was right.
Yeah. Yeah. And they also changed his name from God of Mischief to God of Stories. It was like a sort of a change in the episode 5, but episode 6 made it literally change. Loki sort of, gathering all those branches of the multiverse and sitting there like that. He's acting as God of the multiverse, holding all the stories together physically rather than figuratively. A rewriter of stories, which was what they sort of teased before. But the Easter egg is a neat switch of Loki's title, right? Now that becoming a physical manifestation rather than the theorized ability to change stories, and it also makes him less of a villain. God of Mischief, God of Stories.
I was gonna say that's like a respect thing. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. That's like he got that's a
Mhm.
respect thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They referenced the Kang variant, the Ant-Man and Wasp, whatever Ant-Man. Because he's holding the multiverse together, the TVA has its new role as the security force that protects the multiverse. So the TVA is still operating. It's just they have a new mandate, right? They have a new job. But shortly before Loki season 2, episode 6 is ending, B-15 is the one I think that you were referring to, Stu. He asked Mobius whether any Kang variants have shown up across the multiverse yet. And Mobius said that one surfaced and caused a ruckus on a 616 adjacent realm, but they handled it. And that's a reference to the events of the Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and the Kang variant in the quantum realm adjacent to Earth 616, which I don't like that they call the MCU 616. I really don't like that because it's fucking not.
What's the Central Universe in the comics? What 313 or
616?
All right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where everybody's. That's where most people is at.
Yeah, because I always
Marvel's
one with 313. I mean,
nah,
the movie
yeah,
313.
nah. They be calling it 616.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 616.
It's 616 is like DC's Earth 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. And I would look at 313 as like Earth 2 after, like, you know what I'm saying, rifts and all that happening.
I'm not sure about what 313 is. I don't know about 313.
Because Earth 1, Earth 2 is the opposite of see, like Earth 2 is the opposite of Earth 1. The heroes are villains.
Well, no, they had Crisis on Infinite Earth, and then Earth 2 came about. It was like it's like a recolonization of another planet they found, and it's this whole thing. It's a lot. Mm-hmm.
And Earth 313 isn't what y'all think, because Earth 313 is the home of the Lemurians. It was destroyed.
There's not. It's no. They do have those subsidiary planets, but it's not like.
Well, there's Earth.
There's
Earth like 1622. There's like Earth 12,000 whatever. Like Marvel does it different. Like DC does Earth 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Marvel's like Earth 3023.
Yeah, it's a multiverse. It's not like
right.
Yeah.
And I like how they don't want the main universe to be one. That makes it seem more real to me. Like I don't know. That's
do you feel this might limit that? I feel it limits it. I feel like DC won with that by going with that, because they can kind of take it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I was kind of stuck doing that.
No. That gives them more leeway because they can do Earth 34,926 and nobody's gonna bat an eyelash. DC can't do that because they'd have to do literally 34,000 to get. So
Yo,
they can only
DC
go.
has balls. They will murk off an entire world
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so they can create like DC don't give a fuck when it comes to their reboots. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? They'll do it.
Yeah, but they did do it, but DC did it smartly. Because you got Earth 2 is like a mirror of Earth 1, but it's the golden age. That's where the other Green Lantern comes from. What's his name, Reno? Scott, whatever his name is. The one
Well,
that
Earth
was
Alan
one,
Scott.
Alan
Earth
Scott.
one is Golden
So
Age, and
Earth,
Earth two is Silver Age. Like Earth one has the original Superman, like the very
right.
first
Oh, that's
Earth
Superman,
the
2,
and
old.
then
right.
Earth
Earth
Yeah,
2
two
was a
has
mirror image. Yeah.
Superboy,
It's a mirror image
and
of Earth 1, but a golden age one. But Earth
mm.
3 is where Ultraman and them come from. That's the one where it's flipped, where the hero. That's where the heroes are villains and the villains are heroes. That's where Superwoman is Wonder Woman, and Lex Luthor is the leader of the Justice League, but he's a bad
What's
guy.
just the main Batman jump?
Batman's from Earth 1.
that's
The
Earth
main
one.
Batman, he's from
That's
Earth 1.
Earth one.
Yeah, he's from Earth 1. But you got so many different ones. Like when you do Gotham by Gaslight
So
and all that.
Earth 2 is the old school guys, the old school
No,
No,
characters.
no, no.
the OG golden characters are Earth one. Earth two are the Silver Age characters, so on and so forth. So when you got Earth one, you got OG Superman, you got OG Batman, and OG Robert, all them. They're the originals. And
Yeah.
then you had Crisis, and they had to move. And when they did that, they rebooted it with Earth two, and that's when you get Superboy and Power Girl and them. And so while you have Golden Age Justice League, Earth one, Earth
Oh shit.
two, you have Silver Age Justice Society. Does that make
Right.
any sense? And then it
Yeah.
just kind of went on from there. So you got Golden is Earth one, Silver and Bronze moving from there is Earth two. If that
Yeah,
helps.
because the
And
Earth
then you
2 is
got the
Earth
new
We can
52.
right.
So that's
we
that
can
That's
we,
Saturday,
different.
isn't it? Why are we
That's
talking about
different.
this? That's Saturday.
no,
Because
That's
we can
Saturday.
get back in we can get back
yeah,
into
we
this
gotta get
Saturday
in.
because
Yeah.
I was already supposed to finish the show about 7 minutes ago, y'all. We are over time. But I do have to shut it down. But did y'all want to say anything else before we end the show?
Nope.
I don't think it's anything else.
I got nothing.
We'll go over
Uh,
the different Earths on Saturday. And,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will. Oh, actually, next Monday I'll be hitting y'all up for Rochester, New York, going to New York
Oh, bet.
Friday.
oh,
So
that'll be
hell
dope.
yeah! Wish me a safe trip,
Yeah.
everybody.
That'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
dope.
Hell
Yeah, that'll be
Travel
dope.
safely.
Yeah,
Yes, travel.
please do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, they already got snow up that way, so be careful.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I ain't
Oh,
ready. Yo, it's 70 degrees here today. I broke a sweat. I'm not ready.
Well, where you about to go? You better
Let's
break out your jacket.
go.
You better break out your
With
goose,
the
your
long
goose down there.
johns, long
You get your
socks.
beef and broccolis out and all
Hell
that.
yeah, I'm gonna have to take it
uh,
back and pull out the flight jacket. I'm sorry, them shits is warm. I don't give a damn what you say, man. Flight jackets
yeah,
be warm in the snow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
they
keep the
are.
pilot
I
warm.
want,
Shit.
I want one. I'm looking for one now. I gotta get one. I'm trying to find a nice flight jacket.
I need one front mine straight from 2005. I got an OG flight
I
jacket.
wish I had mine. I wish I had mine
I
still.
held on to that shit. I was like, you gonna take my
Yeah,
flight
yeah.
jacket.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong
Hell
with it.
no. Well, all right, y'all, man. We live every Monday and Saturday, 7 p.m. So don't forget that. Come check us out. If you didn't leave a comment yet, leave one, like it, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We'll see you guys Saturday, 7 p.m. Have a good week. Be safe. Peace.
Peace.